much of anything from the road or from any adjoining properties, so it certainly will not be a hindrance to the general character of the area. The board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property, if this dimensional variance is not granted, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience, meaning that the relief sought is minimal to a reasonable enjoyment of the permitted use to which the property is proposed to be devoted. Because once again, they wish to add solar, which to their credit will help their energy use at this facility, and certainly by granting a 7-foot relief to height will not impact any surrounding areas, and certainly allow the applicant to enjoy greater use of that property. And with that, I move approval.
Motion is made by Mr. Daniels. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second. By Mr. Pellissier, right?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. I wasn't sure where it came from. Any other discussion? Mr. Daniels?
Aye.
Mr. Pellissier?
Aye.
Mr. Diamond?
Aye.
Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Motion passes. Good luck, guys. Okay. Next, we have the petition of MTK ESM LLC of 650 Succotash Road, Wakefield, Rhode Island, 02879 for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to amend the 2018 zoning board decision for additional height of the hatchery building, constructing a 4-foot parapet wall. The planning board approved the requested amendment on November 28, 2023. The parapet will be located 18 feet from the rear property line and 20 feet from the side property line. The required rear and side setback is 30 feet. Therefore, a relief of 12 feet and 10 feet is requested. The lot size is 1.03 acres. Dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance, section 401, schedule of dimensional regulations, and section 907 are standards of relief. The owner of the property is MTK ESM LLC for premises located at 650 Succotash Road, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 87-2, Lot 4, and is zoned CW, a commercial waterfront. And for this petition, we have the application with Exhibit A signed and dated December 21st of last year. Owner authorization form signed and notarized December 21st. South Kingstown zoning decision, which is 5 pages, recorded on August 16th, 2018. Book 1683, pages 143 through 147. South Kingstown Planning Board decision, which is 1 page, recorded December 1st of last year. Book 1870, page 246. Cover page and plan set, which is 1 page, proposed and existing conditions plans, C1 and C, prepared by St. Jean Engineering, LLC, and is stamped by Nobert Therian, PLS, and Richard St. Jane of PE, and dated April 12th of 2018. Architectural plans A30, A14, A31, A32, prepared by KFA and stamped by Frank Karpowitz, architect, and dated October 27, 2021, with revisions on November 27, 2023. We also have a 200-foot abutters list, legal notices, and notarized affidavit for mailing. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Elizabeth Noonan. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Adler, Pollack, and Sheehan, and I represent the applicant MTK ESM LLC, which is essentially the Matunic Oyster Bar, and Perry Rasso, who was here this evening. Mr. Chairman, you may recall this matter was back in 2018 that a zoning board granted relief on this property, this piece of property. This is across the street from the Matunic Oyster Bar. There's parking over there now. There's the marina and the hatchery building that is being built. This is Plat 87, Lot 87-2, Lot 4 in the CW zone. And what's the new building that's being built right now that you see is an oyster hatchery. So back in 2018, in the decision that I attached to our application, addressed the parking issue, which is part of it, and we don't need to talk about that tonight. And then there was some dimensional relief for this building for its location. Obviously, it's a very odd shaped lot. But there were setbacks given for, I believe it was the side yard and the rear yard, which is the waterfront side on this. Fast forward, construction was undertaken, and as we got through the process, it became known about the middle of last summer, or middle of last year in the summer, that there had not been made provisions for the HVAC units on the top. It had not been put into the plans that Mr. St. Jean did back in 2018. So we had some discussions with Mr. Gorman, Mr. Rabbit. End result was we needed to get amended final plan approval from the planning board, as well as now some zoning relief from you. So we got that amended final plan approval, which was referenced by the chairman, and now we're coming to you for dimensional height relief. The building is 25 feet high, so it meets the height limits. It's 35 feet is the maximum. What we're being proposed is a 4-foot parapet to go around the building at the top to screen the approximately 9-foot HVAC unit, which has been set back a bit, so you'll see the renderings that were done by Mr. Karpowitz, who is here today, to screen it as much as possible from the abutters. And because there was prior dimensional zoning approval, we need to come to you for the 4 feet. Did I get that right, Amy? Yes. Okay. So that's what we're looking for. And I think, you've got the plans that are up here. So it's a 4-foot increase in height, bringing it to 29 feet. We worked with, the planning board and went through some different renderings and ended up with the parapet that's out there, that's planning to be out there. And that's essentially it. And we're looking for relief from this board for that. I set forth in the application, went through the standards and applied the standards, which have subsequently changed. But I actually referenced a lot of the 2018 decision in a lot of ways, the topography of the property, how it's unique, and now we're talking different hardship standards. But I think it's still the same applies as you go through it. The hardships due to the unique characteristics here. Part of this lot is located within a VE zone and is obviously clearly very irregularly shaped. And then it's the unique configuration of the land. Also looking at, let me get the other standards here since they've changed. Say it's not the result of any prior action of the applicant. As I said, it was an oversight that the HVAC was not called out back in 2018. But again, Mr. Chairman, if you remember, those were some pretty long contested hearings. We had many, many hours in this room at that time. So, and then we subsequently had Superior Court appeals. But anyway, and also that the requested variance will not alter the general characteristic of the surrounding area. Again, it's the same style as the Matunic Oyster Bar. The parapet that we ended up with was again something that's very similar to what's in the area, and we think works well. We also think that the hardship, if it's not granted, would be more than a mere inconvenience. This is an allowed use. This is, a waterfront zone. The oyster hatchery really could not be more tailored, and it's a very interesting and unique project that Mr. Rasso rather is introducing here, and it's the only one in Rhode Island, and that's part of, I think, why Perry would tell you he's doing it, is to have an oyster hatchery here in Rhode Island. So we believe that the relief sought is minimal for a reasonable enjoyment of this allowed use for which the property will be used.
Thank you. So the purpose is aesthetic, like just to kind of hide the HVAC, or is there more of a practical use?
No, there's no practical use. It's aesthetic. So when it came out that we knew we had to put the HVAC up, it's clear that the HVAC units themselves are not subject to the height restriction. But because we're also in the planning process, and this went through as a major land development, right. As the planner, I guess the administrative officer looked at it, he thought that putting the HVAC up there differed significantly enough from the plans that were approved back in 2018 that it needed to go through a major change. Requiring the final plan amendment, and that got into the discussion of the parapet. It is for aesthetics only.
Oh, so it was triggered by the unit itself, saying that the unit did create a conflict within its height restriction?
Not a conflict. It was just different.
Okay.
One of the things is that really essentially we have to build in strict accordance with the plans that were approved. The plans that were approved did not have the HVAC unit, and the administrative officer, Mr. Rabbit, felt like it had to go through the plan review process.
So it was something that your client decided was best to not just have a shiny object up there, but to put a parapet around
Yes.
for greater aesthetics,
Yes.
which is on point to what he seems to do.
And like I
So,
said,
okay, board members, any questions so far? Mr. Diamond?
I guess my initial questions would be what's dictating the top height of the mechanical system? Is there like are you trying to basically back into a minimum ceiling height on level 1 and 2 that would essentially drive the height? And I guess the next question would be, was there a mechanical engineer involved to see if you can maybe get a different proportion system, something that's flatter, longer, and lower? And I guess the following question would be, was the structure able to be thinner so you don't have to do this?
Each of those questions, and I can't know if I remember all of them, but we went through many iterations through the planning process of different units. When, initially we had sort of a larger square one, but it actually covered more square footage on the roof. And then there were some taller units, but this is a somewhat specialized unit based on what Perry's doing out there. It's not just your or my or air conditioner for our houses. So we did look at a variety of different ones, and the height has come down significantly actually this unit from ones, and I forget Frank or Perry where they were, but we had ones at much higher heights initially when we started. So the height came down of the HVAC unit itself, which again is highly specialized for what the oyster hatchery needs, and then it was stepped back. The configuration of the building did not change at all, so it wasn't anything that went to it. We did not have a mechanical engineer involved, which actually in my practice we don't usually have mechanical engineers doing this type of stuff necessarily at that stage of planning. In hindsight, yes, we will think of that. But like I said, the building was built, was up and constructed. As you know, they broke ground last fall or so, and so it just was or the fall or spring rather. So it was just trying to deal with the situation that we handled. Nothing changed with the building, and it cannot be the mechanicals can't be on the ground because it's in a VE zone.
Right. So would this change then make the mechanicals completely invisible? Because it looks like the diagrammatic, I don't see a dimension, but the diagrammatic elevations show a piece of it still, I don't know how much, is it 3 feet, 4 feet that's still exposed?
They're not completely, it's not completely invisible. I think, Frank, if you have anything to add to that, but we've stepped it back as much as possible so that the visuals, from most perspectives, which we tried to give with those renderings, it is rendered invisible, but there are a few positions where it is not. But to the extent, and when I tell you we spent a lot of time on this, we have.
I'm sure.
This, like I said, there are some positions from the renderings where it's practically invisible. Frank, do you have any comments? Just introduce yourself to the board.
Yep.
Frank Karpowitz, President Frank Karpowitz Architects.
Spell your name, please.
Karpowicz.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So please go ahead.
The roof plan is pretty helpful in understanding why you don't see much of that unit from the street and from a distance away from the building because of that angle. It's far enough back that 4 feet covers from the street, covers the whole unit. If you get far enough away on the south side coming back from the beach, you can see a little bit of the top of it. Obviously, the farther back you go, the more you'll see. This was taken across the channel, a little bit higher ground than you'd get on the road. So you see more of it from this perspective. And it's also a little bit closer to that back of the building. It's an L-shaped building. And to answer, I think to clarify the HVAC question and the equipment, I'm not a mechanical engineer. I was involved in the coordination of this unit, and there's a big indoor unit. It's a split system, so we have to have both. So this unit is kind of designed in conjunction with the very special indoor unit we have.
Got it, like makeup air of some kind?
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is it an ERV or is it just
It is,
okay.
yeah. Yep.
Good. Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Elia?
Yeah, I'm somewhat familiar with HVAC design and usage, and I'm imagining that, based on what I've seen in the past, size of this building, you have to require a certain amount of tonnage, there's humidification control, so you're limited in the size and the scope of the units that you can use. In order to reduce those sizes, you reduce the efficiency. So I think any effort to try and hide that, which is what they're trying to do, I would applaud, but I think you are limited in the size of the units if you want to produce the results that you need.
Thank you, Mr. Liu. Any other board members? Questions so far? No? Okay. Did you want to keep going, or?
No, I think
that's
the only
about
other thing is, as we went through the iterations of this, at one point didn't have the parapet wall up, had the units, and had screening on top, around the unit, on top of the roof. That was far more intrusive than this proposal of putting, intrusive to sight lines, than putting the parapet up. And it ends up nicely balancing out the building, so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I have nothing further.
Nothing further? Okay. Do you want to call anybody else up?
No,
No?
Mr. Rasso and Mr. Karpowitz are here if there's any questions you may have.
Okay. Board members, any questions for the applicant or the witnesses? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone out there want to speak on behalf of this petition, for or against? Okay. I do recall this. There was a couple of long nights relative to this. And I must say it's really exciting to kind of see it built. So thank you, Mr. Rasso, for making this happen. And I appreciate the thoughtfulness of it. I think all too often we're seeing structures that aren't very thoughtful of their presentation and more honest in their presentation, I guess, if you want to call it that. And I mean, all you have to do is drive by the hospital to see the towers of the HVAC that are on the emergency room, that you don't see anything else but those towers. So I would really applaud this and appreciate, I think, you know, it's a scenic area. You know, there's a lot of ways to view this building, and it's certainly not tucked away. And, you know, I don't have any particular issue with the height. So I think it's a great addition.
I agree.
Mr. Daniels?
Just a question. On the agenda, it looks like there's some relief side yard and rear requested. Is that part of this application, or are we just dealing with the height?
It's, what it is when the board granted the variance in 2018,
Right.
granting setback relief,
Right.
now you're extending that variance upward.
Gotcha. So really, the only relief required is the height, or should we address that?
I think when you make the motion, if the board is prepared to approve the application, it can be framed as the previously granted dimensional variance is now, you know, now you're approving an upward extension of that to account for the parapet.
Gotcha.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
I just want to say thanks for the clarification. I wasn't trying to be cantankerous. I think it's a good approach, and I would much rather see cornice or parapet than a bunch of reflective metal on the roof. I was just curious how it got there. So thank you.
Excellent. Okay, if there isn't any other discussion, is there someone that wants to make a motion? Or do you want me to make it? No. I don't care. Do you want to try, Mr. Donovan? Sure. Thank you, Mr. Daniels.
Okay. This is a motion to approve the petition of MTK ESM LLC for a 4-foot height variance for the construction of a parapet for basically to hide HVAC equipment on a building that's already been constructed and well underway. The appropriate materials were entered into the record by the chairman, and the application itself was read into the record by the chairman, so no need to repeat that. Attorney Elizabeth Noonan appeared arguing on behalf of the petitioner, and Frank Karpowitz, the architect, briefly entered some comments with regard to the structure that's being considered. The board finds that the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area, and is not due to a physical or economic disability of the applicant, simply because this is an effort to decorate, if you will, the building to accommodate the HVAC, which is required to be on the roof. It's a complicated HVAC system we've heard, and it's not able to be lowered or put on the ground, so it must be on the roof, and this is an effort to basically hide that structure from visibility, especially along the roadway. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant because he has not yet installed the HVAC. To my knowledge, the building is under construction, and this is yet to be installed and yet to be dealt with in terms of adding the parapet. The board finds that the the granting of the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan upon which the ordinance is based, because this facility was approved back in 2018, and it was approved with a side yard and a rear yard variance at that time, and that was a 12-foot rear and a 10-foot side, I believe, or vice versa at that time. So the fact that the applicant is requesting a 4-foot height variance extends that 18 and a 10-foot variance that was previously granted. The board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property, if the dimensional variance is not granted, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience, meaning that the relief sought is minimal to a reasonable enjoyment of the permitted use to which the property is proposed to be devoted. Once again, because the applicant has taken all steps here to make the building as attractive as possible, rather than looking at HVAC equipment on top of a well-designed building. The 4-foot parapet will effectively hide that and make it a much more attractive facility for the surrounding residential area and the surrounding commercial waterfront area. And with that, I move approval of the petition.
Motion was made by Mr. Daniels. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Hicks. Any other discussion? Mr. Daniels?
Aye.
Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Pelletier?
Aye.
Mr. Diamond?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Motion passes. Good luck, guys.
Great.
Thank you.
And we'll be back next month for the Matunic Market for another height variance.
Oh, come on.
Oh, you'll like it. Wait till you see it. You're going to like this one. So we'll see you next month.
How dare you?
That's funny. You'll like it.
All right. Next, we're going to hear the petition of William Howard of 543 Barbers Pond Road, West Kingston, Rhode Island, 02892, for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a new dwelling on the premises and convert the existing 1,568 square foot single-family dwelling into a one-bedroom accessory apartment. The maximum living area permitted for an accessory apartment is 750 square feet. Lot size is 2.91 acres. A special use permit is required per the zoning ordinance section 503-2. Accessory apartments and 907 are standards of relief. Owners of the property are William and Victoria Howard for premises located at 543 Barbers Pond Road, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 9, Lot 72, and is zoned R80. For this petition, we have the application signed and dated October 27th, 2023. Owner authorization form signed and notarized November 8th of last year. Vision appraisal card, which is 2 pages. OWTS plan, 1 page, prepared by American Engineering, Inc., and stamped by Matthew J. Cotta, PLS, and dated December 5th, 2022. Construction documents A201, A202, A300, A301, A400 prepared by Kevin Newprod and Associated and dated June 20th, 2022. 200-foot abutters list, legal notices, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Who are you?
My name is William Howard.
Okay.
H-O-W-A-R-D.
Yes, excellent. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Mr. Howard, please tell us what you'd like to do.
One thing I want to clarify is that my house, I do not believe, is legally 1,500 and whatever square feet you guys had mentioned.
1,568?
Yep, my upstairs is the only legal living space, which is 784 square feet. My downstairs is finished, but it is only 6'3" high, so it's not legal height for living quarters, I believe.
Okay. Mr. Gorman?
I just want to comment on that. So in preparing the notice, I reviewed the tax assessor card and to make sure not, if there was any questions, the larger amount should be advertised.
Okay.
Because it is identified on the tax assessor's card as 2 floors and that amount.
Okay. But you're saying that it's very short.
Yeah, legally, I don't. Jamie would probably know the legal height requirements, but I'm positive.
Well, if it's
that's not.
pre-existing, I think, you're allowed a certain amount of.
If so, then that's good for me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but
So I think for all intents and purposes, the town recognizes it as a usable space.
Yep.
So I guess if for some reason you didn't want that counter in the future, you'd have to probably petition them to say that this is not a livable space. If you didn't want to maybe.
I do not
taxes
mind
on it
having
or
it
something?
counted.
What's that?
I do not mind having it counted. It's good for me to know. I did not know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just so you know, I mean,
Yep.
it shouldn't affect things terribly.
No.
I
So
would
we are looking to build a house to accommodate growing family.
Sure.
We have 2.91 acres.
Yep.
I own the house next door as well, and my family owns the 2 lots behind me. We've been there for 5 generations, and
yeah?
I don't plan on going anywhere.
Okay.
So recently we've built a pool and pool house, and I did that to cool off while I build my new house, my forever house. So that's the goal. The new house is 3,200 square feet. It will be 3 bedrooms or 4. The septic is based off of 4. That's really all I got.
So
The
basically,
existing-
you're building a new independent house.
Yes, the existing dwelling will be for my in-laws are out of Boston, and they come down because we have the only grandson, and they spend a lot of time with us, and it gets really tight really quick when the immediate family is 12.
Sure.
So
And all the systems and supply, sewer and, well, different septic, different water,
yeah, yes, different water as well, different
Town
septic.
water?
No, well.
well water.
Yes.
And obviously all those are within the distances of.
Yep, and they are all on the the proposed well is on the plan as well.
Okay. So basically, you're here because you can't have 2 houses on one lot unless it's a legal or accessory, basically, right?
Yeah, so the accessory apartment provision allows 750 square feet maximum, 1 bedroom.
Okay.
So I think, the town identifies it as a 2-bedroom and beyond the 750. So, of course, it would be, if it were granted, it'd be conditional only upon, construction of the new house, that this would then become the accessory,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
So, but he doesn't have to do anything. It's just a matter of the town recognizing it as an accessory?
Well, essentially the board would be granting the excess in square footage or deny, but also conditional on, if it's limited to 1 bedroom. So, I don't know if it's being used as a 1 bedroom but that's how the town, the records reflect 2 bedroom.
Okay.
So-
And so would we have to have that in our decision to say that it's a 1,750 or 1,568 square feet, 2-bedroom accessory?
I don't know if he's asking for that kind of relief, the applicant, and I think that wasn't advertised for a second bedroom, so.
It was not. I do not care if it's one or no bedrooms. I just want to be able to make it an auxiliary dwelling so that when my in-laws or my mother flies in, they have somewhere to stay in the meantime.
Now, if for some reason, I don't know why you would go in there, but, and you saw like closets in 2 rooms, is it all of a sudden like, oh, this is a 2-bedroom, or does he have any risk of calling it a 1?
I think it would have to be conditional that it be converted to a 1-bedroom if it is currently a 2-bedroom.
I have closet in 1 room right now.
And would we have to get rid of that closet in order, or would he have to, not we, he have to get rid of the closet? Ms. Goins?
I know I've mentioned this before. I think everyone should be on the same page about the likelihood of a new state law being passed this year that may affect his rights to establish an accessory apartment. So if the board grants relief tonight, and let's just say if the board grants relief to maintain the existing dwelling in the size it's in now as an accessory apartment, and then several months down the line, a new state law comes out that says that effectively supersedes local zoning regulations to some degree regarding accessory apartments, that would govern. So my advice, it's not, I'm here to advise the board, but if I were the applicant, I think the prudent thing to do would be to wait and see. So I think the board can go ahead and hear this application tonight. And again, it was advertised as relief from the 750 square foot maximum limitation for an accessory apartment. I don't know what the plans are to go ahead right away and establish that use, but to the extent there's any uncertainty in these next few months, I think maybe we could wait and see. So I wouldn't suggest taking out a bedroom at this point, but I would leave that to the applicant to discuss with the building official if the board thinks it's prudent to grant it.
So would we have to state that it is a 1-bedroom, 1,568 square feet, or would we just have to say we're allowing an accessory apartment of 1,568 square feet and say nothing else?
I would suggest the latter. It would have to comply with all other regulations set forth in the ordinance for accessory apartments.
Okay. So when, Jamie, when you go out there, do you have to inspect that accessory to make sure that it is in conformance? For the other, because you're going to be out there for the other building, but do you need to go into the accessory, I guess, and verify?
I would ask that, and certainly once he obtains a building permit for the new home, construction of the new home, there would be a condition of, that accessory, prior to CO of the new home, that the accessory apartment, the existing building that he has there now, meet all the requirements or the board's approval.
And so what constitutes a bedroom for you, or for the inspection?
It's essentially the window. So if it has a window that meets the requirements, and we look at it as if it has a hinged door, if it has an opening of 4 feet or greater, then it's not going to be considered a enclosed room like a bedroom.
Okay. So a big door, but closets have nothing to do with it?
Technically, no. Building code, no.
So basically a no door or bigger than 4 feet.
4
So
feet
if
or
the
bigger.
doors, if there's no door on the hinges, or there's no door in the hole, it's...
Yeah, 4-foot door is an odd door to get from Home Depot, or you'd have to custom make a 4-foot door. I think
Not a closable door, but just opening, you're saying, a 4-foot door.
Correct.
Okay. So, do you understand what we're kind of getting at here is that if it's approved tonight as an accessory apartment, it's only 1 bedroom that's allowed.
Yep.
So you would have to
Take my
make
door off the
sure
hinges.
that the space reads as 1 bedroom.
That's no problem. Well, I'm sure you guys, they would have to change it on the tax card or something, I believe, right?
It would change on the tax card
Yeah.
after you get your CO and you're finally issued your final approval. But that accessory apartment is going to have to read as a 1 bedroom through the eyes of the building inspector. If you wanted it to retain and just basically not do anything to the space, council is suggesting to wait and see if the new law allows you to have any accessory apartment, and it's not a restriction as to only one bedroom. Does that make sense?
So is this something, and this is my first time doing any of this, so
Sure.
is this something, it's not like I'm going to clap my hands and have my new house built tomorrow,
Right,
as I wish I could.
right,
My plan would be to try to get foundation framing done this year.
right.
And so is there a note that we can do to
So you
allow me
just-
to try to get foundation and framing in?
So you can't get a CO without having this resolved,
So,
or without
that's-
demolishing that house,
That's
which you don't want to do.
downstream.
That's down the road. So you can have, you can stop me whenever I'm wrong, but you can have those two things on the same spot, but you can't live in them both. They can't have an
Yep,
occupancy.
that's fine.
So when you see you're probably several months out, you'll want to know, did the legislature pass the accessory apartment bill?
Exactly.
If they did not, then you can come back. We can continue or withdraw, or what do you suggest?
I would suggest if the board is satisfied and prepared to grant the application tonight, grant the application to go over the 750 square foot limit. It's one bedroom consistent with the ordinance unless and until state law overrides our local one bedroom limitation.
And we would have to say that in order for it to do it, or would it
You
just
don't-
automatically?
You don't have to say it.
Okay. Oh, so you're saying that we can pass it tonight, and if they pass the law, he's good.
Correct,
If they don't pass the law, make a wall bigger,
correct,
make an opening bigger.
correct.
Perfect.
Does that make sense?
I'll make the bathroom bigger.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds great. Go right
Any
in.
guest would probably like a sized bedroom, bathroom. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yep,
Okay.
I'm good.
Board members, questions for the applicant? Mr. Daniels.
You have a plan here for your new home. Are you going to be requesting any dimensional variances at all on that, or are you okay with where it's located on the lot?
Nope, everything is located as per the setbacks by the town.
Okay, great.
Fantastic. Okay. Any other questions, board members?
Yes.
Ms. Hicks?
So just to continue Mr. Daniels' question, I was confused when I went through this because I saw the application for the dimensional variance, but then I saw all these lovely plans for a new house. We're not doing anything with the new house, are we?
He's
No.
just telling us that, he's just showing us the plans for the new
Plans are
house.
beautiful.
Yeah, and I might
a
have
nice place.
filled stuff out that I shouldn't have because it was my first time filling stuff out like this, but I didn't really. He was my only help that I had over there, so it was good. I came in and he helped me walk me through it.
Excellent. Yeah, no, it certainly won't
So the
hurt.
only question is about the accessory.
Is the accessory, are we okay with it being 1,568 feet? Square feet. Okay. Any other questions, members? Anything else to add?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone out there want to speak on behalf of this petition for or against? Nope. Okay. Anybody have any thoughts, motions in them? Anything like that? Do you want to give it a shot? You want me to do it? It's a softball, man. I'll give it a shot. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the petition of Mr. Howard of Barbers Pond Road in West Kingstown, Rhode Island. Mr. Howard presented to the board the property, the layout of the property. We have the plot plans that identify the large lot of 2.91 acres that they're looking to build a new dwelling on and leave the existing dwelling on there. The existing dwelling is 1,568 square feet with some low ceilings. And they're looking to have this structure, this building, be deemed a accessory apartment. Accessory apartments only allow 750 square feet, and this one is 1,568. So Mr. Howard requested that this be made the accessory. No one else presented or spoke up about this particular petition. For this, we are looking for a special use permit, and the additional materials, I'm trying to think. We have several plans. He gave plans for the new house, which weren't necessary, but the plot plan is basically telling us where everything was. We find that the special use permit is authorized by this ordinance because, certainly that we pay particular attention these days to accessory apartments and providing accessory apartments as additional space on properties in this town. The board find that the special use does meet all the criteria set forth in the subsection of this ordinance authorizing the such special use. And again, this is because there's plenty of space, 2.91 acres, and as I said, we are looking to be sure that we're maximizing the amount of additional space housing in the town. We're granting this special use permit will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of this ordinance or the comprehensive plan of the town. In so doing, the board has considered whether or not satisfactory provisions and arraignments have been made concerning to the following matters where applicable. Coming in and out of the lot is not a problem, and automotive and pedestrian safety, it's a large enough lot that they can control it. No issues of parking, no trash or storage issues that are a problem at this particular site. Utilities and so forth are not a problem. Screening and buffering isn't necessary. There are no signs. And really, the general compatibility with lots of the same or abutting zoning districts. We have several properties in this town, multiple properties in this town that have large lands as well as multiple structures on their property. So this certainly is in compliance with that. The motion is to approve the special use permit for expanding the accessory dwelling. So I made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Hicks, second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Daniels? Mr. Pellissier? Aye. Mr. Diamond? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck. All right. So next we have the petition of Anthony and Lynn DeLima of 140 Allen Avenue, Wakefield, Rhode Island, 02879 for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a detached garage measuring 21 feet 2 inches in height. The maximum accessory building permitted is 15 feet, so they want a 6 foot 2 inch relief. The lot size is 0.28 acres. A dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance, section 401, schedule of dimensional regulations, and section 907 are standards of relief. Owners of the property are Anthony and Lynn DeLima for premises located at 140 Allen Avenue, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 48-3, Lot 33, and zoned R10. And for this petition, we have an addendum signed and dated October 25th, 2023. Owner authorization form signed and notarized October 31st, 2023. The perimeter survey of land, which is 1 page, prepared by Clift Sand Land Surveying LLC, and is stamped by Robert Clift PLS and dated November 22nd, 2023. Elevations and floor plan, which is 2 pages, dated October 12th, 2023. 200-foot abutters list, legal notices, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Fine, thanks. So do I have to state my name?
Spell your name. State your name and spell it, please.
Okay, Lynn DeLima, DeLima.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. And who's with you?
Anthony.
So state and spell your name, please.
Anthony DeLima, DeLima.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So go ahead, guys. Tell me what you'd like to do.
Okay, so we're kind of new in town. We're loving Wakefield, I just
Excellent.
have to say.
Welcome.
And thank you. And we bought a 213-year-old, what we consider historical home. And we currently don't have any outdoor storage for this house because it didn't come with a garage or an outbuilding or anything like that. So we were hoping to build a garage that could store tools, snow blower, lawn mowers, all that kind of thing to help keep the property tidy. But we also would like to store our Sprinter van inside of this structure that we use for mountain biking and surfing and that sort of thing. And because of that, we needed the structure to be taller than what we're allowed. And so I guess what we're asking for is we'd like to honor the current historical fabric of the property in the neighborhood by putting on a roof that matches the angles of the roof that's on this original old home, and not just put some ugly structure there that could fulfill the needs but keep below the height restriction. And that's kind of why we're here.
And so it's a Sprinter van, which I miss my Sprinter van.
Oh, you
I did. When they first came out.
Oh.
It's long dead. But it's a high roof?
It is.
It's a high roof. Okay. And you guys have stuff on top of the roof, too?
Rack, yes.
Oh, boy. Yeah. So you need some height.
10 feet.
10
Yeah.
feet.
Just for the vehicle.
Just for vehicle clearance, so the door has to be
Here.
10-foot clearance?
Correct.
Okay. The positioning of this proposed garage is convenient as well as practical for you guys? Like where you're putting it?
Yes, we put it on the side, the offsets are met, and Jen, our designer,
Architect.
created to make sure that there was turning distance and that vehicles could come and go without too much difficulty.
And
There are some other things in the yard that need to be cleaned up
Right.
to create that.
And you were utilizing an existing driveway to
Yes.
do that?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're staying within your setbacks?
Yes.
Okay. And is there anything that you're sort of picking up from the house design-wise?
Yes, the
Okay.
roof pitch is matched,
Okay.
and the window sizes and frame colors, and sort of utilizing lighting on the outside of the building that's aesthetically, we think, pretty. Sort of old farm style.
So while you can have a shorter roof, you wanted to kind of fit with the house?
Yes.
To do that?
And then we're also going to be doing wood clapboard siding to match the house.
Yeah, but if we had a shorter roof, what would happen is it wouldn't be aesthetically in line with, yep, there's our house.
There's our house.
With,
There's your van.
oh, there it is. See, that's not pretty. We kind of want to be able to put that into a garage. And the thing is, I don't know if you noticed this, but this is a truss design. So because of that, there's no worry, if you will, of putting a second room up there or anything like
Yes,
that.
so-
Okay.
Because
So
we
it's not
need-
really going to be usable up there?
No, we need
Right.
the space for the van, and that takes it into the truss design, and then the crisscrosses are up there.
Oh,
We
okay.
have the truss. Do you have a copy of the truss design?
I didn't see it, did we? It's okay. I believe you. So not many people are doing a stick frame anymore, so a truss is sort of the way to go. Okay. Board members, questions for the applicants? No? Anybody else in the neighborhood have an outbuilding? Do you know?
Oh, let me think about that a minute.
If you drive around the neighborhood, yes.
Well, some of them, kind of across the street on the corner of Allen and Willard, I think it is, there's an older home there, and they have, it's an original sort of attached carriage house, so it's not detached.
Sure.
But as far as detached, there are some, but I wouldn't say they're very pretty.
So it's not uncommon to have an outbuilding in your area at all?
No, it isn't, no.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is, And your desire is to kind of keep the aesthetics somewhat consistent with the main house.
It is. So here we are with this conundrum of trying to fit this vehicle in, get it out of sight and into a garage, but have the garage be in keeping with its surroundings.
Sure. Okay. That makes sense. Any other questions, board members? No? Mr. Daniels.
Or Mr. Gorman, is this a pre-existing non-conforming lot?
That's a good question. I'll have to take a look.
I know
real
it's
quick.
R10 zone, and this is a .26, so my guess is it probably is
I think it's a .28,
.28.
and I think it's a pre-existing, well, maybe it is now.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I'll have to take a look at the zoning real quick. They have the,
Okay. The agenda item, legal notice, didn't seem to indicate that, so I'm wondering if that's a problem or...
let me pull it up here real quick. This is zoned R20. It has the lot area. Does it?
Anyway.
Bear with me for one moment.
So it doesn't look like anybody got the fences right relative to your plot lines.
They did not, because when we had the corners staked out, it was like, oh, that guy's been mowing our lawn. Well, hey, that's fine.
Yeah, no, it definitely seems like that it's a little off.
Yeah, it is. And it's probably been that way a really long time.
Yeah.
I believe the hedge actually between us and the neighbor can stay. Like it's
On our
Close.
property.
it's on our property.
He takes, I don't,
Yeah.
it's a
It's
little
okay.
Yeah.
wishy-washy.
Yeah.
So the notice says R10. It's 0.28 acres. That's 12,196 square feet. So they have the frontage and the land area for a conforming R10. So section 401 would apply.
So it is not non-conforming?
It's conforming, yeah.
It's
not
a conforming lot?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to
Sorry.
be sure the notice was okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay. You guys have anything else to add?
No?
Nope. Okay, thank you. Anybody care out there? Come on up. That's it. No prizes, though, unfortunately. So good evening. Please state and spell your name, please.
Sure. My name is Bethany McGuire, McGuire.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So please, go ahead.
All right. So I live directly across the street from them.
On Allen Ave?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm at 143 Allen Ave. In fact, my house was on the TV for a second there. But the thing is that their property and all the surrounding properties have been in my family for 6 generations, the Northups and the Champlins. Mm-hmm. And I've lived in my house my entire life. I've seen a lot of things at 140 Allen Avenue, good and bad, but it's just so wonderful to see new owners that are taking such great care of it. I mean, from the get-go, clearing all of the shrubs. It doesn't look like that anymore. Taking care of the property. It's beautiful. And when they mentioned that they wanted to basically mimic the house, that's fantastic. Because when I look at that house, I don't just see a house across the street. I see a house where my aunt lived, and where I spent half of my childhood. So to have somebody have such a responsible idea as far as just aesthetically, I'm totally fine with them having it, and I look forward to seeing it when I look out my window.
Excellent. So you're sick of the van. You're sick of looking at the vans.
No, but I do have an ugly shed across the street. So.
Hang on one second. Just make sure. Does anybody have any questions for this witness? Oh. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate you coming up. Oh, that's sweet. Anyone else want a hug? I mean, anyone else want to? Nope. Okay. Sounds completely reasonable. Every part of it, including, wanting to mimic the house and its style. It's a great neighborhood, and so it seems like it'll be a nice addition. Anyone else have any thoughts, ideas?
I drive by that way quite a bit. I drove by that way to get here today, and the neighborhood, a lot of the other houses that do have outbuildings or garages, they've mirrored the roof lines. I think you guys are very much in line with what people in your neighborhood have been doing and the approach they've taken.
Yeah. Kudos. Anyone else? Nope. Okay, someone want to make a motion? Give it a shot? Sure. Thank you, Mr. Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a motion to approve the petition of Anthony and Lynn DeLima, 140 Allen Avenue in Wakefield, for a dimensional building height relief of 6.2 feet, and that is required under the zoning ordinance section 401 and section 907 standards of relief. Both Anthony and Lynn DeLima spoke on their own behalf and indicated what they wish to do with a detached garage on their property. And Miss Beth McGuire, whom you probably owe dinner to, spoke on the behalf of the petitioner as well, and was very complimentary to what the petitioner is wanting to do with the detached garage, and spoke very nicely about the condition of the property has changed since you've been the owner, so that's great. The board finds the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area, and is not due to any physical or economic disability. The applicant simply wants to have storage for a van that requires a larger than standard height, and thus they're requesting the height relief so that they can put the van into a structure that is complementary to the existing home that they and the surrounding areas to which they live presently. The hardship is not the result of any prior action, because the applicant has done nothing but improve the property based on testimony that we have since they've been there, and this will indeed increase the value of the property and will allow them to place their van out of the weather and out of sight during the time in which it's not being used. The board finds that the granting of the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive community plan on which the ordinance is based. Once again, because we had testimony from the applicant that this is not unique to the area. There are outbuildings in the area, so this would not be something that is unique to the area, but would be complementary to the surrounding area. The board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property, if the dimensional relief is not granted, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience, meaning that the relief sought is minimal to a reasonable enjoyment of the permitted use to which the property is proposed to be devoted. Because certainly you don't want to leave an expensive van out in this kind of weather with the snow and ice and who knows what. And a garage will certainly be accommodation for you to better take care of your vehicles and your property, and in addition will look nice, as we've heard from your lovely neighbor. So with that, I would move approval.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Diamond. Any other discussion or praise? No? Mr. Daniels?
Aye.
Mr. Diamond? Aye. Mr. Pelletier? Aye. Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Enjoy, guys. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right, lastly, we have the petition of Eric Postolo Builders of 120 Matthias Lane, Charlestown, Rhode Island, 02813 for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to replace the existing seasonal cottage of 453 square feet with a new cottage of 600 square feet. The applicant has previously received approval for this project. However, the said approval had expired. Lot size is 50.2 acres. The special use permit is required per the zoning ordinance, section 203, special use permit for addition, enlargement, expansion, or intensification, in section 608, or coastal community overlay district, in section 907, or standards of relief. Owners of the cottage, 13 EC 15, are Richard and Susan Moore on property owned by Matunic Beach Properties, located at 240 Cards Pond Road, South Kingstown, Assessor's Map 92-1, Lot 9-145, and is zoned R200. For this petition, we have the application signed and dated December 2nd, 2023, cover letter dated December 3rd, 2023, owner authorization form signed and notarized August 31st of 2022 and September 14th of 2022, South Kingstown zoning decision, which is 2 pages, recorded November 28th of 2022, book 1846, pages 2013-2014, South Kingstown field card 1 page, construction drawings 5 page, site plan 1 page, 200-foot abutters list, legal notices, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening. And you are?
Eric Pasillo, P-O-S-I-L-L-O.
All right, Mr. Pasillo, you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So tell us what you guys like to do. Now, I'll start off by asking, is there any change
No,
to
there's no changes. We got married, so we missed the deadline because we were in.
Well,
we were in
yes.
Mexico,
And
so.
you didn't come here for that approval, so that's okay.
And none of you guys got us a gift, so
I have,
you're gonna
you
have
know,
to pass it now.
It's.
so.
I was looking for the registry, but it's. So no changes to
No
it.
changes.
Exact same as before.
Yep.
And as long as we still have the same judgment as we did back then. So you're staying within the 50% of expansion.
Yep. Under the 17 feet, nothing changes.
Under 17 feet, around the property is still fine. You can still get around it with a truck, drive around circles. You can still park without causing a problem.
Yep. Okay. I'm not even gonna get into, we're gonna do a 7 pitch so we can fit solar panels, so you need to give us higher roof line.
You're not gonna ask for that?
No, I'll let that go.
All right. Do we have a plot? Is there a plot plan on here that we have for getting around the building? Just to make sure.
We do meet all the setbacks.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we'd like to see a plot plan on the application that helps us make sure that the, it is there? Okay. That fire and so forth can kind of get around it. Okay, great. All right. Board members, any questions for the applicant? None? Do you want to add anything else that we sped right through?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. All right. Anyone else out there want to speak on behalf of this petition? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think that's all we need.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I know you waited all this time just for that, but your patience, and hopefully you were mildly entertained. So does anyone have any thoughts about this? I mean, we're aware of this property. We've got several hundred cottages on one particular property, and that we have rules relative to how much we can expand, and also clearances and so forth. And it seems to have met all of those expectations that the town has for this particular area. So I don't see any particular problem. So anyone want to?
I'll make a motion, I'd be glad.
Go for it, man. Use the new template.
That's awesome. I guess my question is.
Sorry.
My question for the chair here is, because this is just sort of the same thing as before for them, do I still go through the exact same procedure, read all the same items?
If you want to make the evening a little bit shorter,
Yeah.
you can refer to and rely upon the board's previous decision.
Got it.
And simply state, nothing has changed,
Okay.
nothing material.
That was my question, yeah. Because I recognize folks in the
That was the previous decision.
audience wanted to have dinner. And also my vision isn't so good tonight, so November 16, 2022. Okay, great. Okay. Just want to make a motion to approve this. Sorry, what is the terminology?
Approve the petition for Eric Postle.
That's right.
Builders.
Sorry, basically just an extension. Oh, sorry, not an extension.
It's a new petition,
Got
so
it.
it's
Okay,
we're
I see.
approving a special
Okay.
use permit.
Got it. Okay. I would like to make the motion to approve the special use permit for Eric Pasillo, and essentially just referencing the previously approved decision from November 16, 2022, which has since expired, but nothing has changed at this petition, and all the same factors still apply. So as such, we approve that. Thanks.
Excellent. Okay. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Daniels. Any other discussion? Clarifications? Otherwise, we'll attach all the previous documentation to it from the plans and so forth to the petition. Okay. Mr. Diamond. Aye. Mr. Keck, or who seconded? You did. Mr. Daniels. Aye. Mr. Pelletier. Aye. Ms. Hicks.
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
With both parts. All right. So we do have the review of the 500 Waits Corner Road decision. So we had council write up the notice for the decision, which, do you want me to read the whole thing in?
I don't think you need to, and I apologize for the late hour that it was delivered to you, but I did give you a heads up last week. I might not have it to you until the meeting, so I beat my own deadline by just a little bit. But you can skip to the end, the findings of fact and conclusions of law. I tried to distill all the comments down to the essence of why the board denied the appeal, right? And I think what I have there is sufficient to enable judicial review, meaning why did the board make the decision it did? So I'm sure there are a few typos in there, and we'll clean those up, but this is your time to put polish on or add anything you think I left out.
Excuse me, Ms. Goins, can you also review who will be voting on this tonight? Because Mr. Rosen isn't present. Mr. Pelletier heard no testimony, but Mr. Elia was present.
Yep, only the motion that counts was the motion that was made last week to deny the appeal. So I will also make a note that Mr. Rosen participated in the vote but didn't participate in the approval of the written decision. So the voting members on this matter should be the voting members from the appeal hearing.
So that was just the three of us? Or would that include Mr. Elstier was here, he was here, so,
yeah,
but not voting?
It should just be the three of you who voted last week. Four, okay.
It was Kevin, the chairman, and myself, and
you were here.
I wasn't on.
Yes, then the four.
Okay. Okay. Excellent.
You recall us early to that hearing.
That's right. I have it marked on my calendar. Okay. All right. So I could just say I want to make a motion to deny the petition, or do I just?
The motion now is approving the written decision prepared by legal counsel.
Okay. So I want to make a motion to approve the notice of the decision as drafted by counsel for the 500 Waits Corner Road. The findings of fact for this is that the board had jurisdiction over this appeal pursuant of our statutes 45-24-64 of the Zoning Enabling Act and 909 of the Zoning Ordinance. We also had section 45-24-68 of the Zoning Enabling Act that set forth the board's power in this manner as follows. In exercising its power, the Zoning Board of Review may, in conformity with the provisions of this chapter, reverse or affirm wholly or partly, and may modify the order, requirement, decision, or determination appealed from, and may make any orders, requirements, decisions, or determinations that ought to be made, and that the end has, and to that end, has the powers of the officer from whom the appeal was taken. The appellant has failed to prove that the specific activity that was the basis of the notice of violation constitutes a legal existing non-conforming use. So specifically, the board accepts the credible testimony of the zoning enforcement officer that section cited in the NOV was contained within the zoning ordinance since 1976. The bulk of the testimony and evidence offered by the appellant in support of the appeal relates to activities after this date. For instance, the article from the Rhode Islander detailing the activities and traditions of the Cottrell family was from 1993, almost 2 decades after the relevant prohibition was added to the zoning ordinance. Furthermore, the appellant relied primarily on the testimony of Ms. Mayhew, who did not have personal knowledge of the condition of the property prior to 1976. To the extent that campers existed on this premises and or were utilized for sleeping purposes, such activity would not be considered a legal non-conforming use. And the fourth is, furthermore, all the individuals who offered testimony and or correspondence in opposition to the appeal indicated that the camping activity on the property had increased in recent years in the wake of COVID-19, which is roughly the summer of 2020 and thereafter. So even after the appellant had established that the 3 campers on the property were a legal non-conforming condition of the property, which the appellant had failed to do, the board accepts the credible testimony and correspondence submitted by the various objectors to the appeal, and that the camping activity on the property has increased in recent years. That is the findings of fact that we have had upheld the decision of the zoning enforcement officer. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the decision drafted by council. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Daniels. Any other discussion? No? Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Mr. Daniels? Aye. Mr. Diamond? Aye. Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Motion passes. That's it. Okay. Okay, so what else do we have here? We have approval of the minutes from January 17th. Someone want to make a motion to approve those minutes?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Mr. Diamond makes the motion. Motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. February 21st, 2024, not 2023. Everybody will be here?
Yep.
Everybody's here? Okay. Any other discussion? No? All right. And motion to adjourn? All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? You can stick around. Good evening.